welcome to Arts Alive Theatre. My name is George Fulton, and over the coming weeks we'll be reviewing, previewing and celebrating the very best in Liverpool theatre. And what a tradition we have here in Liverpool. From the legendary Everyman and Playhouse to the Empire, the Royal Court, the Epstein Theatre, the Lantern Theatre, as well as the Unity Theatre. What a tradition. Well, Christmas is nearly upon us. And along with novelty records and the last-minute dash for Christmas shopping, we inevitably have the Christmas show. And this year, the Royal Court are back with their Christmas show, Scouse of the Antarctica. And we sent along our very own team to find out a little bit more about what this show entails.
There is a character played by Mickey Stark, who is our central character. He lives in the Antarctic or the Arctic. We can never quite decide which one of the two it is. By himself with his little animal friends. Then a series of characters come into it and make his life very, very complicated. A student arrives, he hates students. The Americans arrive on a submarine and the Russians arrive on a submarine, and conflict and etc. etc. Between the producer, the writer, and me, I guess, earlier on in the year, we just started talking about ideas, and the producer said he wanted it to be snowy. We thought, oh God. And then we got, okay, he's in the Antarctic. We thought, yeah, he's in the Antarctic. Which meant we have this amazing set, which is quite good. And then we just tried to get a story together, but we didn't want a lot of story. We wanted to stay in the Antarctic all the time, rather than go off somewhere, come back, keep it on that lovely composite set. This is my first effort as a director, whereas before I've always been a musical director, which is self-evident, isn't it? But I thought it would work out because I've been involved with plays with music before, so I thought, okay, I think I know how to do it. We'll find out, won't we? But I've been watching directors for years and years and years, and I thought, well, yeah, go on, let's have a go, so we can pull it off, Yeah, when we started putting the plot together, it became apparent that we would have to have little bits about climate change and the Russians and the Americans and all the politics that go with that. It was unavoidable, and the natural resources under the Arctic, Antarctic. It is unavoidable, but I should stress we do it in a very, very light-hearted way. It's not proper politics. It's definitely a Christmas show.
Hiya, I'm Michael Ledrich and I am playing Jason in Scouse of the Antarctic at the Royal Court Theatre.
My name's Lindsay Germain. I play Olga. Her real name's Oktarina Ballerina Toraktovina, and she's from Russia.
My name is Michael Fletcher. I'll be playing the part of Boris and Kowalski.
I am playing Jason, who is a very, very amorous polar bear. Likes to enjoy himself in certain ways. Like he's henpecked, he's got a girlfriend called Kylie. Loves it a bit, but he gets they knock heads a little bit every now and again. And he just lives around the North Pole and likes to just chill out. And he's got 3 children, and yeah, he just likes having a good time and just hanging around and being Jason and just relaxing. I based a lot of the stuff that Jason does on a lot of people that I know personally, a lot of people you see around Liverpool, just general people who are just, that way inclined, little bit lazy, little bit dozy, little bit sort of like to have a good time, slack personalities, but you've got a bit of banter about them. He's got a certain charm about him, Jason. And I think Liverpool as a city is full of people like that, people who are just, they go about their lives, everyday lives, go to work, they go to the pub, they go and look after the families, they go out to restaurants, they have the tea, but there's that little charm about them, that little spark, and I think that's what I try and bring to Jason as a character.
Olga had a very sad childhood. Her parents, when she was born, her mum was made up, her dad was devastated, he wanted a boy. And then she's been brought up a boy all the way through her life. And she's fighting this in a woman, she just wants to be a woman basically. And then, happily for her, she finds love in the North Pole with the American side, the captain of the American submarine. There's a lot of rolling R's and just trying to get this Russian accent. At some point she does go a bit Italian and a little bit Jewish, but yet she finds a way back again to being Russian. But it's all in the laugh.
To offer congratulations on a very successful voyage. It has been a pleasure to serve you.
Volkov, you and I are about to make history.
The Russians and Americans both want to stake a claim in the North Pole, and Boris is the sidekick to the lead Russian, and Kowalski is the American sidekick as well. Boris has a bit more to do than Kowalski. He's the Russian, so and his accent is very much talking like this. So it's a bit of a funny one, and then the Kowalski comes in, and he's very much like a little American type one.
All crew members, assemble on deck.
Leading Seaman Kyle Kowalski, ready for inspection, sir.
Inspection? Oh, this ain't no goddamn inspection. What can you smell, son?
Cheap perfume and fake tan.
God damn it, that's the audience.
The fact that I'm playing the two parts involves it's the same costume, but it's all in the hat. So one side is the Russian, and then just for a quick thing, it's the American Stars and Stripes. But the joke is that the part that I was originally meant to only be playing Boris, but George Clooney didn't show up, so that's why I've had to do both. So there's a scene as well where I have an argument with myself. So Boris against Kowalski. So obviously I'm having to do a bit of, what did you say? I do not know what you did. So it's one of those ones, but it's hopefully going to be funny. I think I'm losing my mind. I feel all right. It's reading well. It's a very demanding thing that I'm having to do, but I'm loving it.
Hey, what about me, Norbert?
Yes, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to introduce Frosty. He's got a little Tourette's problem, you know. I made him good, isn't he?
Good? You're joking, aren't you? Where's me bastard legs?
Never mind your legs. It's great living up here, isn't it?
No, it's shite.
What do you mean?
It's bleeding, freezing.
The director, Howard Gray's been really good. He'll kind of let you develop stuff within rehearsals, and then what works, he'll say, yeah, let's keep that in, or, you know, he's got great ideas himself. So it's kind of like everybody just puts the bits in, and then we'll just sort it back out. It's like washing, you know, then you sort out what's going to stay and what's going. So, yeah, it's been really good, yeah.
Boris is the ne'er-do-well of the cast, I think. He has his shining moment is when he tries to tell a joke, which is actually a bit like me and Mickey Stark's actual relationship, because he is 50 million times funnier than me in real life. And Boris waddles on, and he tries to say an amazing joke, which falls absolutely flat. And it's one of those ones where it's funny because it's not funny. So for us three as actors, that's a hard one to try and keep a straight face over. But I think that's his moment where everyone kind of warms to him, because the audience at first don't know how to respond to Boris, because he's one of the baddies to ruin what was the nice, peaceful thing for Jimmy. And then that's the moment where everyone goes, oh, actually, he's all right.
A lot of the jokes are on Jason. But yeah, he tries to sort of stick with the crowd and just get by on life, and he takes life one day at a time. And like, if one day is a bad thing, he'll probably sort of try and brush it off and forget about it. But yeah, it all tends to revolve around his girlfriend, who he tends to follow around like a dog on a leash. and she likes it that way. She's pretty keen on it being that way and staying that way.
Just come and see the show. It's a great show, you know. It's for everybody, really, for all ages. You know, there's loads of singing, loads of jokes in it, and people are just going to love it. And it looks dead Christmassy, and that's what it's about.
Cold, extra cold, extra cold, extra cold.
Oh, yeah, I let it go too cold.
Cold up the cold up the cold up the cold.
I feel it in my heart and soul.
Cold up the cold up the cold up the cold.
And I play footy with the seals.
Cold up the cold up the cold.
We'll be back at the Royal Court a little bit later on as we get audience reaction to their Christmas show, Scouse of the Antarctica. After the break, we will also be visiting FACT to find out more about their upcoming live theatre events. So we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to Arts Alive Theatre. Before the break, we visited the Royal Court to see their new Christmas show, Scouse of the Antarctica. But what did the audience make of it? Well, we went along and asked them. Here they are.
Just kicked off our Christmas season.
Plus, it was stars that I've seen before, and Michael Starr is just brilliant.
Local lad.
My God, he's only got it started it.
And he has managed to die!
thought the polar bears were great. Polar bears were great.
The polar bears were dancing. That was good.
Oh my God, we absolutely love the polar bears. And we both fell in love with
We're in love with Jason.
We're in love with Jason. We have actually fallen for Jason. That's like our ideal Scouse polar bear. I said, how can we get to 50 and be aspiring to want to be with the polar bear?
It's a real good night out, really enjoyable. It appeals to Scousers in particular. Good Scouse humour, great night out.
Jokes relating to Liverpool, and we just enjoy it. It's great. It's fun. It's a family thing for us. It's a family concept our fun does. Get your mate out, get your mum out, get your dad out, get your friends out, get your neighbours out. Just come along.
It is the funniest thing. If you're a Scouser, it is the funniest thing on earth. It's just, and it's Christmassy. It gets you into the spirit, it gets you into the mood. But our cheeks were hurting, our chest was hurting, our stomachs was hurting.
That's a good workout.
So funny, so funny. Yeah, brilliant.
Definitely, come along.
One of the most recent phenomena to hit theatre is live streaming of theatre. So now you're no longer confined to going to the theatre to see theatre, you can actually see it at the cinema. And we went to FACT this week to see two of their upcoming live streamed theatrical events. Hello, we are here at FACT Liverpool to discuss two of their upcoming theatrical live streamed events. We have the National Theatre's John, a movement and spoken word piece that looks at the character John as he overcomes addiction, abuse and imprisonment and looks to find solace in a relationship. And then we are also looking at Arthur Miller's classic tale, The Crucible, which looks at obviously the Salem witch trials in the 17th century and the fear and persecution that that entails. Joining me today to discuss that is the marketing manager here at FACT, is Elliot Callard. Welcome, Elliot.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So first of all, let's discuss John. This is a movement and performance piece of theatrical art, really, and it involves and focuses on the story of John, and you went to see it. Can you tell me your experiences of that?
Yeah, the play premiered at the Playhouse here as part of the Homotopia Festival a couple of months ago now. It's by a company called Deviate Physical Theatre. They're probably one of the most well-known physical theatre companies, kind of operating probably in Europe at the moment. And it's a verbatim theatre work, so it was based on interviews with about 500 men over a couple of years actually. And then they kind of stumbled on this one guy, John, and just, I think, fell in love almost with his story.
And it's a fairly harrowing story, isn't it? Because it involves sort of beatings and incest and addiction and overdosing and his sort of struggle to find a relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes place almost over his entire life, kind of regaling you with these often horrible tales of his childhood and abuse that he suffered, and then moving into his homelessness, his alcoholism, his drug addiction. And then, yeah, as you said, his struggles to find a relationship and kind of find some happiness in his life. But I wouldn't say it was kind of a downbeat production. You are left feeling quite exhilarated almost and quite positive by the end of it.
And it's involves movement. It's a, as you say, a movement and dance piece, but with the spoken word used as well. How does that impact the performance, and how does that help tell the story?
If you've never seen a piece of physical theatre before, this is kind of the perfect way to start. The entire performance is on a continually rotating stage, so throughout the hour and a half of the play, the stage never stops rotating. There's a wall in the middle of the stage, and each side becomes different rooms.
So you sort of get vignettes of his life as it rotates around.
Windows open, you see different things set on fire, things fall over, and the performances, especially from John, the central character, are just incredible. Like how people can do that with their bodies and how people can do that while performing these incredible words at the same time.
And Hannes Langolf plays the title character, John. What's his performance like?
It's just incredible. Must be the fittest person in the world. The amount of control he has over kind of the tiniest little movements. There's a scene where his body is ticking along to a clock, and the amount of control that he has over kind of a single arm movement or a single eye twitch, while also speaking these words, is just unbelievable.
Great, wonderful. Now moving on, we also have coming up, and just for the viewers back home, John will be being played here in the cinema on December the 9th, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to The Crucible by Arthur Miller. Obviously, one of his great works, along with All My Sons, Death of a Salesman, and A View from the Bridge. But this was famously written whilst America was going through one of its spasms of morality and fear and paranoia during the 50s and the McCarthy witch trials, and the House of Un-American Activities was rife. And it was said to reflect the ongoings of what was happening then in America. Now, this performance from the Old Vic, does it relate to today's modern world, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of kind of the major strengths of the Old Vic, reinterpreting these classic plays that people may have seen 20 times before in kind of a new way, and considering the society we live in at the moment and what these performances can say about 2014.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, obviously paranoia, persecution, and the destructive force can be related today to religious fundamentalism and the absolute belief in the Word of God. So I think it's an interesting play. In terms of the production, it stars Richard Armitage, who is more well known from sort of TV work and The Hobbit, in the sort of central role. How did he perform, do you think?
Well, before his entire TV career, he had a really kind of impressive theatrical background, so I think he's really at home on stage. and that really shows. I think he's an incredible performer.
This is directed by Yael Farber. Do we know much about her work?
She's worked with the Old Vic a number of times, but I think this is her kind of most high-profile piece of work so far, and it was really well reviewed when it opened in London. This performance was shot during their 2014 season, and kind of now it's being broadcast around the country to cinemas, and we're really happy to have it at FACT.
Yes, and you can see it here at FACT on December the 14th and December the 17th. Elliot, thank you very much for your time. And you can find out more about the National Theatre's John and the Old Vic's The Crucible by visiting FACT Liverpool. I'll see you next time as we discuss more upcoming theatrical events. Until next time, break a leg.